event, and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
Repeat after me. I will not touch the fuse box.
I will probably not touch the fuse box.
Sip, do you remember what happened last time?
Yeah, I remember.
What happened?
Half of the city block lost power.
And?
My chicken condo went haywire.
That's right. The chickens ran wild. So what do we do instead?
Call Joe at Ambition Electric and let him handle everything. Look, saved on speed dial.
Ambition Electric, 402-217-3415 or online at ambitionelectric.com.
There's never been a better time to earn more on your checking account. Open a free Kasasa Cash checking account with Liberty First Credit Union and earn up to 5.5% APY for up to $40,000. It's simple. Open your Kasasa checking account line or stop to any of the 4 Lincoln locations or Seward and Omaha branches. Liberty First makes switching easy, and Kasasa checking is always free. See libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
It's April, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton and find your next ride, as summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Motor Food is Lincoln's hardest rocking food truck and cafe. Motor Food creates old school comfort food with a 21st century twist and lots of rock and roll attitude. Try the barbecue pulled pork mac and cheese, the grilled chicken Firebird sandwich, a 100% all beef split grilled hot dog, and any version of their funky fries. Stop by the cafe just behind Outback Steakhouse on 48th Street or catch the food truck out and about all spring and summer. Check out their menu, order carry out, or schedule a catering at motorfoodtruck.com.
Constructors is now hiring for all positions, with laborers starting at $20 and up based on experience. Constructors has immediate job openings for laborers, mechanics, bridge builders, operators, and drivers. Start your new career today. Constructors offers great pay, health, dental, and vision insurance, paid time off, paid holidays, and so much more. Join the crew today and be a part of Nebraska's oldest paving company dating back to 1908. For a complete list of openings and to apply online, visit constructorslincoln.com.
This is the Happy Hour.
You guys going to happy hour?
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America.
Yeah, I'll come for a couple.
Here are your hosts, Nick Sainert.
I want to know what it's like to commit a crime without having to spend time in jail.
And Enrique Alvarez Clary.
C is for chunk.
Brought to you by Empire Fence and Netting on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What's up? Welcome into the happy hour. Happy Monday. Hope the weekend was swell for everybody out there. Nick Sainert and Rico joining you. Rico, was your weekend swell?
Hello. My weekend was pretty good.
Pretty good?
It was pretty good.
You had an eventful Saturday.
Yeah,
you got to go to Central City for the Husker Volleyball game.
First time in the Bison Dome.
That's
Shout out to Central City. Shout out to the family out in Central
Dome.
City. Shout out to the Bison Dome. Really nice.
What did the family do?
They went to the game. They got some tickets.
So why shout out to the family?
Because I got to shout out the family. Shout out the family in Central City.
Shout out to all the people in Central City.
Yeah. Well, I got family in Central City. Great, Rachel's family. Okay. It's my family.
That's fine.
So shout out to the family. It was great. Standing room only.
Okay.
It was the first time I've ever worked with people like standing behind me. So it was very weird.
Yeah.
But like I didn't want to back up.
Did you catch anybody looking over your shoulder at your laptop?
I didn't look back.
Okay.
I was focused on the court the entire time.
Wow,
I was terrified that I would look back.
What a diligent worker.
Terrified I'd look back and somebody would just be like, hey. So I didn't do that. But every time I back up, I do the thing where I record the final point of each set.
Okay.
So I would do that, and I felt bad because I'm like, whoever's behind me can't see.
Oh, you had your phone up high?
There were people standing in front of me.
Oh,
they had us on the concourse. They had us on the concourse around.
Okay. Yeah, how was the setup there?
It was nice. It was nice. There were not enough seats for all of the media. So me and Lauren Michelson, shout out to Lauren Michelson, she let me have her seat until she had to come up and edit, and then I would get up.
Okay.
She didn't come up to edit. I like handed her a laptop and I was like, "Do you need to sit?" She goes, "No, you're good." I was like, "Okay." So I was sitting the whole time.
Wow.
But she was recording down on the court. Shout out to Lauren. We're best friends now. But
Okay.
it was great. Like people would like stand up where we were.
Yep.
And like I'm short, so I couldn't see over them. So I held my phone up and kind of like
You have to
lean
hold.
up
Oh, that's
over
too bad,
their
Rico.
over their heads. But no, it was an electric atmosphere, just as Becca Alex said. At certain points,
Yeah.
it was louder than the Devaney.
That is very, very
What's the word you're looking for? Come on, find it.
that's worrisome.
Is it?
Not worrisome. That's not the right word. Dangerous. To where you're saying, man, that was
It was,
dude,
yeah,
Rico. The
you were-
wheels were
You
turning.
were looking for a word.
The wheels were turning,
Come on,
and there was smoke coming out of both ears.
words are hard.
Holy smokes!
It's a fact.
I just couldn't say anything. Like I think I tried to say a word there, and it just didn't happen. And I'm sure the flow of texts are about to come in. But
I know it happens. Words are hard.
yeah, thank you, Corey. Thank you, Dirty Tony. Thank you. But
No, okay. So
seriously, because that could be something that fans take offense to in a way. But she didn't mean it that way.
I
She
don't
did not
think
mean
they
it that way.
should, because she's not wrong. Because it's a smaller venue.
Because Devaney's quiet.
No, it's a smaller venue.
Okay.
The walls are closer in. The ceiling isn't as high as Devaney. So the
Mhm.
sound's bouncing around everywhere. So with, 3,000 whatever people in there and a smaller area, you got standing room only, all that stuff. It got really loud during a lot of
That's good.
points during the match. Not to say Devaney doesn't also get loud. If some of the plays that happened at Central City,
Yeah, there was that
happened
one
at the
play that I
Devaney,
got to see. Yeah.
it would be fantastic. Your ears would be ringing. But no, shout out to the Bison Dome. It was an amazing
Shout out to
atmosphere.
Central City.
Shout out to Central City. It was an amazing atmosphere. Shout out to Wichita State for coming up
Shout
and
out to
playing the
John Cook, his belt buckle.
his
was
belt.
cool.
I think it was his
Was it
his
his
milestone,
signature one
his
thing?
milestone wins
Yeah.
belt buckle. Had some custom boots made for him
I
by
saw that.
somebody in Central City. I
Yep.
can't remember the name, so I'm not even gonna try. But it was super fun. He was wearing jeans, his belt buckle, and his boots. They were asking him if that was going to be his new game day attire, and he said he wasn't sure because Adidas. So
Shout out to Adidas. 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line. We'll jump back into the Husker volleyball side of things here in a moment. Definitely want to talk NFL draft because that concluded over the weekend, and so talk a little NFL draft. At 1:30, we'll be joined by Steve Mark of Inside Nebraska, as we are every Monday, to discuss Husker football, a little bit of Husker basketball potentially, but more importantly, obviously the Casey Thompson conversation, A.J. Allen discussion as well.
yeah, how are you doing with that? You're a big A.J. Allen guy.
I liked A.J. Allen a lot.
You're a bigger Gabe Irvin guy, but you were a
bigger
big
Gabe Irvin
you were
guy.
a big A.J. Allen guy.
I don't know. I'm going back and forth to where I don't I look at this running back room, and this will be a conversation obviously we'll have. I don't know if there's going to be a guy that rushes over 1,000.
Really?
And I'm not saying A.J. Allen would have been that guy. And I think,
Is it for lack of talent or for lack of attempts because they're going to spread it?
well, I
In
think
my
I
mind,
think
they're
it's lack of a single guy being taking the job, if you will.
I get
Because
that.
I don't
'cause
see a Ramir Johnson going for 1,000.
No.
I don't see. Maybe
Ramir's-
Anthony Grant. I that's the thing is
So Anthony Graham was the closest last season, and that was with barely running the ball towards the end of the season. He should have had 1,000 yards, right? We can all agree on that. Gabe Irvin, we know the talent that he has, being the first true freshman to
Yeah.
start at running back for Nebraska since I don't know if it was ever or whenever the last time it happened. Ramir, he's not going to be 1,000-yard rusher, but I do believe he's going to put 1,000 yards of all-purpose yards together because he's going to be a much bigger target receiving the ball out of the backfield. But I get it with Gabe Irvin and Anthony Grant. I think they're going to be. You're not going to have that lead back. They're going to be swapping carries.
Rico, as much, and you know how big of a Gabe Irvin stan I am, I don't know if it's realistic to think that Gabe Ervin's going to have a 900+ yard type of season. I don't know if he's capable of that. We'd have no clue.
Mhm.
And those are the thoughts that are coming through my mind right now. Cause like the whole AJ Allen situation, is it surprising? No. Is it a bummer? Absolutely. Is it disappointing? Yes. Because everybody knows the story. He's a guy that comes in with Brian Applewhite, was going to go to TCU more than likely, where Brian Applewhite was coaching previously. Coach Applewhite ends up coming to Nebraska, and now AJ Allen pops up out of nowhere, isn't a Nebraska priority target. And then over the course of the season last year, in the few games that AJ Allen did play in, and this is where I have concerns maybe about Anthony Grant, and these questions we'll ask Steve in a little bit.
Mhm.
But this is where we almost saw AJ Allen start to catch the heels of Anthony Grant and kind of feel like this is a job that he believes should be his.
Mhm.
And similar, I suppose, to the Gabe Ervin situation in 2021. Now, I think Nebraska's running back room was more talented than in 2022 than 2021, and I think it's more talented here in 2023 than it would be in 2021. But now this is 2 straight years where you've had a true freshman come in and seem like they're about to take the job, and then it's a season-ending injury. And so we have no clue what happens after that, because I think Gabe Ervin was real close in 2021 in that Oklahoma game in Norman. The stats won't pop off the page.
No.
But from a feel standpoint, there was something in that Oklahoma stadium, as stupid as that sounds, where it was like, all right, Gabe Ervin's going to be their guy.
That was going to be the run. For whatever, it just, there was a hole there. If he would have gotten through the hole, it felt like that was his job to take. Now, he was the starting running back to start the season. I will push back against the AJ Allen taking the reins a little bit, just because it did feel like you had a supremely talented back in AJ Allen his freshman year this last year, but it was still Anthony Grant's job. I think no matter what, it would have been Anthony Grant as the starting running back all season. I think AJ Allen would have pushed Anthony Grant to continue playing at a very high level, but I think he would have been the backup for the entirety of the season. However, he would have put up a lot better stats. I mean, if you look at the stats, he had like 100 and some yards. I don't even know if he was at 200 yards, but it was, fewer carries than Anthony Grant. So I don't know if he was pushing for that number 1 spot as much as he was just cementing himself as the surefire number 2 guy in that room.
And maybe that's the way I'm looking at it now, because you look at this Husker scholarship distribution chart that I've been visiting frequently over the last couple of days,
putting in some work.
And it's the Quentin Ivas isn't on campus yet. Redshirt freshman Emmett Johnson, who we know the staff likes. Ramir Johnson, Anthony Grant, and Gabe Ervin. And
I still like that running back room. I like it a lot more with AJ Allen there, but I still think you have 3 capable backs in that room. And then, Emmett Johnson, we're not sure exactly what we're going to get with him, considering he's a redshirt freshman, but with the way the staff talks about him, they seem really they like what he has to offer. And Quentin Ives, being one of the taller running backs, I believe, will have something to say in that running back room as well in the future. Again, this coming season, I think you have your 3 and you're good to roll with those 3.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just going to be interesting. Like, I got this feel, and everybody's freaking out about the whole video with AJ Allen and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't understand, so at my slow pitch softball game last night, okay, like the news broke that AJ Allen was going to enter the portal. It broke like 5 minutes before our game started last night at 8:00. And like, I got asked by somebody at the slow pitch game, where it was like, oh yeah, I saw that video, and ever since then I figured, it's just, he's going to be gone.
It's just a matter of time.
It was just a matter of time because he got yelled at. And I sat there and I'm just like, well, first of all, like, have you ever seen a football practice, like a competitive practice, where somebody gets yelled at and the guy's not going to necessarily be happy? Like, he's going to be disappointed, I suppose. I just feel like it was kind of a weird spring for AJ Allen over the course of a couple weeks and over the course of those 15 practices, unfortunately. And there was so much question because we knew about that relationship with Brian Applewhite, that it goes back to that. I'm not sure it was necessarily a surprise. I think it was just a bummer, similar to Casey Thompson, if you will. Like, is it that big of a surprise that Casey Thompson goes into the portal?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not, because he's going to be playing one final year of college ball. And does he really want to sit behind a guy that was brought in over him? He misses the spring practice, and now he just has to sit and hope that he gets a shot in the fall or gets a fair crack at a quarterback battle. I don't know. It's not surprising. It's just disappointing, I guess, if you will. But happy for Casey and happy for AJ Allen, because now AJ Allen's going to be able to go to another Power 5 school. Casey Thompson is going to be able to go to another Power 5 school.
Oh yeah.
And the
thing is, you got to look at the other Power 5 schools. Don't look at a place where there's a quarterback entrenched in quarter. Casey Thompson's going to go somewhere where he's going to start right away.
Yeah,
he has one final year. And look, I know he's a competitor. Obviously, we know he's a competitor, but for his sake, I hope he goes somewhere where he's just going to get the job. I know he's going to fight for it regardless of wherever he goes, but I want to see him play.
That's what I want. Once again, these are all just narratives that we hear throughout multiple outlets, but it's just like the whole Casey didn't want to compete, so he decides to leave, and did the same thing at Texas. And now AJ Allen gets yelled at on a video, and everybody sees it, so now he leaves. I'm just sitting there going
everybody
that
goes
is not the
that.
situation.
Everybody goes straight for that.
There's also something to be said if you look at this the way that the roster shakes out. Nebraska, and this is what I've realized over the last week and a half or so, since the spring game and since the portal opened up. Matt Rule has a plan, and we're starting to kind of see it come to fruition that doesn't necessarily make sense. I don't want to say that, but it fits what we saw at Baylor and what we saw at Temple.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the idea of early in my tenure, we're going to get real young, and we're going to just throw those guys out there and see how they stick.
You're going to learn on the job.
Nebraska, prior to the transfer portal opening, they were already young. People might forget, because Bryce Benhart's playing since day one, and since Turner Corcoran has been playing since day one, and since Nebraska went heavy transfer portal last season, prior to the year in the last year of Scott Frost, when you add Casey Thompson, when you add Anthony Grant, when you add Trey Palmer, when you add Marcus Washington, you have to realize that because the reason that they did that is because they didn't have many people they felt good about in the classes below them, in the junior and the sophomore years. And so now that those guys move on and go to, whether it's the NFL draft, I forgot a big one, O'Shawn Mathis. Don't forget that Garrett Nelson could have returned if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
Decides to go test the NFL draft waters,
NBA waters,
NFL
Garrett,
draft waters, and signs the UDFA for the Miami Dolphins. But now you look at it, and if you break it down by class, Nebraska is going to have 27 true freshmen. Once again, of 85.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically 88, I suppose, but it will be 85. 27 of 85 are true freshmen. 23 of the remaining are sophomores. So you're sitting there going, 50 of your 85 guys are freshmen and sophomore. Or that's what they're going to be.
Yeah.
Now, some of them are going to be transfers. Obviously, Reed Gilbert is a redshirt sophomore. Elijah Judy, Kai Wallen, Chief Borders, Corey Collier, they're all sophomores. Jacob Hood is a redshirt freshman. And then you add a couple more transfers that are juniors in Jeff Sims, Ben Scott, and MJ Sherman. But you sit there and go, maybe this team is quite a bit younger than we may have realized.
Yeah.
Because we were thinking, Casey Thompson's going to be there. We have a junior quarterback. We have a senior quarterback. Technically, Nebraska had two junior quarterbacks in Jeff Sims and Logan Smothers. And now that door's still open, obviously. But then you had, now you look like we've talked about wide receiver room. It's Joshua Fleeks, Billy Kemp, Marcus Washington. Those are your three seniors. Two of those are new guys. And then you're hoping that IGC and Xavier Betts pan out. And then it's 6 true freshmen. And so, once again, not that this is an excuse, but now we're starting to kind of see everything that Matt Rule is about, everything we heard about Matt Rule, and the way he wants to orchestrate and build a roster. whether you like it or not, this is the way it's going to happen.
It's all
and it's in the way of 50 true freshmen and sophomore out of your 85 guys coming up in the fall.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. Once again, 402-464-5685, the Honda of Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, both those open for you guys, as well as Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. So, and that's what Matt asked, is how many of those redshirt sophomores are in their 4th season?
Yeah, that COVID year's still throwing things off.
So it would be that COVID year. So like Gabe Irvin is a redshirt sophomore in his 3rd year, right? So we'll go through the list.
What is Fedoni technically? Because he has the 2 injury years. He gets 1 for sure.
1 plus COVID.
Plus COVID.
Well, I have him listed as a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, because technically if he applied for it, I'm sure he would get another injury year. So he technically could be a redshirt freshman.
So that's what I have him listed as is a redshirt sophomore, because the waiver probably hasn't gone through.
No, well, I don't know if he's even looking for that, because he's looking to play 1-2 years and then go to the NFL. Anyway,
so I mean, you're just looking at these guys, and even the sophomore, and this is what's wild about it. When you look at like proven production, and there's not going to be a lot of it because Nebraska has been so heavy in the transfer portal for, I mean, goodness sakes, the last 2 years, and probably 3 when it's all said and done with 2023. The last 2 years at least, your leading wide receiver has come through the transfer portal. It's in Samori Toure and Trey Palmer. But you look down like even just the sophomore class, and it's Gabe Irvin. Okay, he's had 3 games to play.
Yeah,
right. Thomas Fedoni been injured. Arik Gilbert transfer. AJ Rollins is a 2-way guy that's getting time at defensive end. Xavier Betts left the program at one point. Teddy Prohaska injured. Henry Lutovsky, haven't seen him. Ruquan Buckley, haven't really seen him. Blaze Gunderson, sort of seen him.
Well, here and there. He came in injury relief towards the end of the season.
Then the linebacker room, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys, Jamari Butler is the only one that's actually seen playing time.
Perfect.
In that class. Then it's Kobe Bretz, haven't seen him. Tamon Lynham, haven't seen him. So it's just, not that this is a bad thing, but it's kind of, we're kind of starting to see it somewhat come to fruition. Now that, I mean, AJ Allen portal and Casey Thompson portal, and along with the guys, you know, similar to Stephon Wynn, who is going to be in his final year, and Logan Smothers, who had 2 years left, and Noah Pula Gates, who had just 2 years left. Casey Thompson was in his final year. So we're starting to see maybe it's not necessarily always the case of, yeah, I'm going to move on. I decide to move on, or more of, hey, we kind of want to get younger. Maybe you should look for somewhere else, but you can leave the door open.
Yeah.
So let's take a timeout. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska, talk all things Husker football, a little bit of not necessarily recruiting, but I mean, recruiting transfer portal, if you will. Nebraska coaches, by the way, just sent out a tweet that said they are visiting Pinnacle Football in Arizona. Said, thank you, Donovan Raiola, Marcus Satterfield, and Husker football for coming out to Pinnacle High School today.
They're all over.
We've got home of Dylan Raiola.
Well, we've got that. We've got some coaches at Mater Day High School.
Seeing Brandon Baker, the number 1 offensive lineman, and Nathaniel Frazier, a 4-star running back.
We've got some coaches out at Norris.
Yeah, that's right.
Staying local.
500-mile radius. Just down there in Firth. Would that be the Hickman Firth area?
I believe so. I'm not gonna
Norris. You're not gonna try?
I'm not gonna try.
All right, Steve joins us coming up next on the Happy Hour.
Follow Nick and Enrique on Twitter at Nick_Sainert and at Radio Rico AC. More of Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
It's April, and that means the school year is almost over and summer road trips are on the horizon. Stop telling yourself you'll upgrade your car someday and do it now. Mullen Motors lot is full of great vehicles to take home, so you don't have to worry about your current car barely surviving another road trip. Come check out their lot just north of 48th and Layton for your next ride, as summer road trips are just around the corner. Mullen Motors.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
Hi, Sean Callahan here with Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and it is Truck Month at Koppel, and we are pulling out all of the stops for this gigantic event. The lots are starting. We have some great deals for you waiting in Louisville. Brand new GMC Sierra Light Duty and new Silverado Light Duty trucks, all trim levels. Have up to 4 discounts. That's right, up to $4,000 off all new light duty trucks right now at Koppel. So do not wait. Now is the time to buy a new truck. So stop on in or visit us online at koppelcars.com. You must have a trade-in and finance with Koppel. All deals with roof credit.
You don't think about your roof very often, but you should never take it for granted. Roofing Service Company takes every measure to provide you with the highest quality roofing solution. Whether it's a new roof installation, roof repair, or a re-roofing project, their overall goal is to provide you with a pleasant experience and a long-lasting roof. If you have a need for siding or gutters, they're your place too. Visit roofingservicecompany.com for more info today.
Vershawn Jackson for Brant Excavating. Brant has been in 29 years, and they specialize in a variety of things. If you're looking for someone to get the job done, demolition, excavating, truck grading, and site prep, Brant is the place to call. To set up a quote or learn more, call Brant Excavating at 402-474-4113 or go to brantexcavating.com. They're also hiring, so join the team today. Brant Excavating, a part of the Bauer brand, who reminds you, go Big Brand!
There's never been a better time to earn more on your checking account. Open a free Kasasa Cash checking account with Liberty First Credit Union and earn up to 5.5% APY for up to $40,000. It's simple. Open your Kasasa Cash checking account online or stop into any of the 4 Lincoln locations or Seward and Omaha branches. Liberty First makes switching easy, and Kasasa checking is always free. See libertyfirstcu.com for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Tailored Life is now open in Bennett. Make the short drive down Highway 2 for tons of items for your home, for both indoors and outdoors. Check out their variety of potted trees, shrubs, vines, perennials, and colorful annuals. Plus, porch pots and landscape lighting to enhance the outside of your home. Don't forget their home goods for indoors, plus convenient drinks and snacks, most which are produced locally. Visit Tailored Life today in Bennett and stay tuned to their Facebook page at Tailored Life 360 for food truck events coming up.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Smoked meats, amazing sides. The only problem when they fix you a plate is that at some point, that plate will be empty. But hear me out. What if that plate was never empty? That dream can be your reality with the Mary Ellen's Express Lunch Buffet. From 11 to 2 every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and even Saturday. One price, all you can eat, and it even comes with a drink. Tell your boss you're taking a long lunch in there. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul at 29th and Pine Lake. Let them fix you a plate.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams. From treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Husker Highway.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realtor Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial property. Ben's team offers unbeatable customer service and promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6009 for all your real estate needs. Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
For great views, go to Kansas. For unforgettable views of action-packed racing, go to Kansas Speedway. With facilities fans well want to see it. And with a Saturday doubleheader, a Sunday Cup Series race, and great deals on kids' tickets, the views will get better all weekend long. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 6th and 7th. Get your tickets today at kansasspeedway.com.
Are you planting this spring? Make safety a priority. LES requires any landscaping or trees to be planted a safe distance from electrical lines and equipment to give crews safe access. Visit les.com/trees to learn more.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza. The big one. All the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa.
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
This isn't the real Caesar's Palace, is it?
What do you mean?
Did Caesar live here?
No.
I didn't think so.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the Happy Hour 93.7 The Ticket, theticketfm.com. Notorious BIB on the text line says, Firth is in the Norris area. Come on, Nick. Learn your surroundings.
Yeah,
I said
Nick,
that.
Come on, man.
I said that. I said it's the Firth area is Norris.
What are you doing?
Firth and
You should know.
KNTK Firth.
Mark used to live in Firth, and he went to Norris.
Our signal's also in Firth.
It is.
So
that's why when you get close to the station, the signal gets bad because the radio's
sunspots. Remember?
Sunspots.
It's sunspots
because the tower is not here. The tower is not in this building.
In this building.
That would be weird.
It's unfortunately not going to be in the building when we move downtown either. Nope. So, all right, let's go to the Honda of Lincoln Hotline. We're joined by our good friend Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. Steve, did you know Norris is in the Firth area?
Yes, I used to cover preps and was out at Norris
Nice.
quite a bit, so was over there with the Titans quite often.
Good stuff. There's a lot of coaches out and about today. I saw there's Donovan Raiola and Marcus Satterfield are at Pinnacle High School, obviously the home of Dylan Raiola. Does this make you feel any more confident that the number one quarterback picks Nebraska?
No, it does not. But still a very good high school, regardless to go and see and make relationships. But with Dylan Raiola up front, no, it does not.
Shoot. Well, it was worth a try.
Which high school would you rather be visiting, Pinnacle or Mater Dei?
Matter Day. I mean, in regards to Nebraska's class next 2024 class, I think Matter Day's got a couple ones that would be really big time pickups for the 2024 class over there at Matter Day.
Well, Steve, not to keep talking about recruiting because we are going to get to the actual roster really quickly. I saw Greg, your guys' colleague, announced that Isaiah McMorris is going to take an official visit to Nebraska in the middle of June. I mean, that's a pretty big deal because Isaiah McMorris visited USC, and it kind of seemed like, all right, Nebraska's somewhat out of it because he decided to go to USC instead of visiting for that big weekend in March. But now it looks like Nebraska's somewhere in the thick of it.
Yeah, I'm not, it's very cool that USC had Isaiah out there, and Isaiah's a really interesting talent, just really, really quick, really fun to watch when he gets, I think he's really fun to watch in space. When he gets the ball, he's an excellent kind of wide receiver screen type guy. You can give it to him in jet sweeps, play around with him in the backfield, really, really fun stuff. So that kind of fits USC's offense and what Lincoln Riley wants to do to a T almost. But, coming from Bellevue West, I think Isaiah, he's been around Nebraska, the program for a while now. And, him not being there for the spring game, I don't know if it was that big of a deal in my personal opinion, because he's just right down the road and he can take some visits pretty often if he wants to.
Yeah, exactly. We're talking to Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. Okay, Steve, it's been a busy couple of days, especially the last week and a half or so, as Nebraska continues to navigate the scholarship limit and stuff like that. A big domino to fall was late last week in Casey Thompson. It feels like the door is somewhat open for him to return, but the chances of that happening are slim to none, right?
If you're asking me my opinion, I think he won't return. But obviously never say never in today's college football landscape. If we're talking about another quarterback, Logan Smothers, that door is absolutely still open. Sources told us at Inside Nebraska that, if nothing kind of comes about with Logan and his family with other programs, if nothing really screams like it would be a kind of a home run to kind of move over there and go with that program. I think Rule and the staff really enjoyed having Logan around. He's an excellent teammate. He's an interesting runner at quarterback, and he'd be welcome back with open arms. So don't totally shut the door on Logan Smothers yet, but obviously he's got to do what's best for him, and he'll do his due diligence and look around at other programs and see what fits best for him. But I think as far as Casey Thompson, I'm thinking maybe SEC territory. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. I think that's the way Rico and myself are leaning in a way. I guess Steve, when you look at Nebraska's quarterbacks now, I'm not so sure if this was expected from Matt Rule, that he expected to lose 3 quarterbacks to the portal. But here they are. They have 3 guys on scholarship now. Obviously, they have Jack Wosh in that room as well. Is it possible that they look at a transfer portal quarterback if Logan and Casey, for that matter, don't decide to return?
Yeah, I was thinking about that myself, and I think you would like a body in there, a scholarship body in there. But that I always kind of viewed that extra body as potentially Logan Smothers, maybe. But if it's not, I could definitely see them kind of dipping their toe in the portal and seeing what's out there as far as scholarship quarterback. So. But yeah, I mean, over the weekend, or I guess not weekend, Friday, he was, that news with Casey Thompson kind of just, took me by surprise. I don't know about you guys, but after the fact, after you look at things big picture wise, it does kind of seem obvious that he would, enter the portal and look for, he's only got 1 season left. So obviously he wants to play and doesn't want to, be a backup anywhere. So I guess it does make sense, but I guess, I don't know. I was expecting him to stay for fall camp and maybe battle, but maybe that's just not how things are done anymore in college football, especially in this landscape in 2023. I mean, Friday's news kind of surprised me, but I could see Nebraska going after a scholarship quarterback for sure. And, maybe it's Smothers, maybe it's not.
Steve, that comment that you made was really interesting about kind of keeping depth in 2023. And I want to talk about that big picture here in a couple minutes. But first, we talked all off season, and I guess it still is the off season, about how good of a running back room Nebraska had when you incorporated AJ Allen, but obviously he is now in the transfer portal. He had a really promising couple of games prior to the injury that kept him out the rest of the year. How much, if at all, does this change your mindset surrounding that running back room now that AJ Allen is in the portal?
Yeah, that was another surprise, honestly, last night when that news came across social media. But, I remember writing it at Inside Nebraska right after the news came out. And, entering the spring practices, you had to really, really love Nebraska's running back room. And you had a big 3 of Anthony Grant, Gabe Ervin, and then, AJ Allen. But now with you subtract Allen from the equation. And honestly, guys, I still like where the running back room is right now. We've just listened to Matt Rule talk about Gabe Ervin. The guy sounds like he has a love affair with Gabe Ervin, and I understand why. Gabe is huge. He's physical. He's fast. He's not a perfect running back. I think he needs to work on patience and, working on hitting the right hole in the run game, just like Anthony Grant. I think Anthony Grant's kind of the same way, where he gets fed up so quickly and sometimes he doesn't go through the right hole. When you also think about what the running back room has, so you have Gabe Ervin, you have Anthony Grant, then I think a lot of people forget about Ramir Johnson. And I know Ramir is kind of along the same lines as AJ Allen. And that was one of my issues with AJ, honestly, last year. I know a lot of people like him, and I'm not taking anything away from AJ Allen. He's a really talented running back. He had probably the best home run speed out of anybody in that room. It'd be an interesting foot race between him and Ramir Johnson, but he just didn't look like a Big Ten running back to me. He was around 190 pounds, 5'10", 190 pounds. And yes, I know I'm sounding bad right now, but he had a really great true freshman season, and it's a bummer that he only lasted 4 games because of the broken collarbone. But when I look around in the Big Ten about the running backs who do well, they look like Gabe Ervin Jr., they look like Anthony Grant. So, and I know Ramir Johnson brings a different dynamic that A.J. Allen does too. He's a threat out of the backfield, catching the football. He's a speed, I think, is his best trait, just like A.J. Allen is. So, and the thing is, I really like and I really trust what E.J. Barthel is going to bring to this room and on the recruiting trail, because they're going to keep recruiting really good running backs to Nebraska. So on the surface, it is shocking, or at least I was shocked at least. And it is kind of disappointing that A.J. Allen did decide to leave, because A.J. Allen is really good in some program somewhere, is going to get a really talented running back who can come in right away and basically be your starter, I think. But at the end of the day, you look elsewhere in this running back room. Gabe Irvin Jr. looks to be the guy. Anthony Grant is going to be a heck of a backup, and who knows, he might be getting some starters amount of carries too. But Ramir Johnson, Emmett Johnson, we don't know what he can bring yet. And then you're coming in with Quentin Ives this summer. Quentin Ives is a really interesting back, at kind of a lanky guy at 6'2", around 190 pounds. But E.J. Barthel is very, 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 very high on him. So, A.J. Allen, it hurts to lose him, I think. But ultimately, I think the running back room is going to be fine at Nebraska.
We're talking to Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska, the rival site for the Huskers. And I guess, Steve, when you look specifically at Gabe Irvin, and I guess Anthony Grant could be considered in this conversation as well, what's the realistic ceiling or expectation that we should give these guys? Because Rico and I were talking, I mean, as high as this staff is on Gabe Irvin and how as much, promise and potential that we believe that he has, he only got to play 3 games in 2021 prior to suffering, or 2.5, if you will, prior to suffering the injury against Oklahoma. And then he played just a very limited amount all of season of last year. What's the realistic ceiling to expect for these guys?
Yeah, and I totally understand that if fans aren't completely sold on Gabe Irvin yet, I totally get it. I mean, he has had his injury problems that have kept him off the field and kind of stunted his development and growth on the field. I totally understand that, and that's a viable way to think about it. But just looking at when he has been on the field, if you go back and watch the tape and listening to coaches and what they say about him, and then when you look at him, you stand next to him during post practice press conferences, and you see how much his body has been physically developed over his 3 years on campus here. I mean, the guy just looks like a monster. Mm-hmm. And then you listen to him talk, and his mindset just it's almost I think it's almost like a Thomas Fidone type level of determination, which is a little bit scary, because nothing is getting in Thomas Fidone's way of of kind of thinking that he can't do anything on a football field. And I feel like Gabe Irvin Jr. is along those same lines, with the mindset and the determination and the confidence that you need to have to play running back at a high level in the Big Ten. So, and also a thing that I kind of want to mention here that could possibly happen is, with this offense, Marcus Satterfield's offense, and the way E.J. Barthel has talked, this could be maybe a running back got by committee type thing, where you really like what Gabe Irvin brings, but then Anthony Grant showed great flashes last year. He had a heck of a start. He made something out of nothing so many times. Anthony Grant did. It was almost amazing what he wound up doing. And then I mentioned Ramir Johnson and the dynamic that he brings as kind of a faster, quicker option. This might not be a one running back offense. This could be a running back by committee type thing, where Gabe Irvin gets some carries, Anthony Grant gets some carries, Ramir Johnson maybe is the third down back, maybe slides out to a slot receiver sometimes, something like that. So what's the ceiling for those guys? I don't know if I have a good answer for you, but I could see those 3 guys for sure maybe having a role in the offense. And that kind of fits along with what Rule has said about he wants almost like hockey line changes. He mentioned that for the defensive line, but I could see that for the running back, where you just kind of rotate that big 3 of Gabe Irvin, Jr., Ramir Johnson, and Anthony Grant throughout the game, and keep those guys fresh and running hard. So I don't know if that was a good answer for you, but that's kind of where I'm coming at.
Steve, couple more before we go ahead and let you go. Okay, going back to this big picture thing, because in the college football world now, it's difficult, and I think people are starting to realize that it's difficult to sort of build depth at multiple positions, whether that's quarterback, whether that's running back. And by depth, I mean quality depth, right? Because now, I mean, you look at quarterback room's a perfect example. Jeff Sims is going to be the starter. And if Logan Smothers finds a new home, that drop off from QB1 to QB2 is going to be pretty significant.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if you go back and watch the spring game, a lot of the coaches are obviously high on Heinrich Harburg's athleticism, but the question with Heinrich was always, his passing ability and how was his ability to read defensive coverages and how was his passing accuracy. I think fans kind of got a glimpse at what the coaches were seeing all spring practice, where it didn't really look that great with Heinrich Harburg and his passing. His accuracy just didn't look to be there. He looked like he struggled with it all spring game. And we fans obviously got a full taste of Chuba Purdy obviously last year, and that was kind of a grind too with Chuba. He looked completely lost at times. I mean, we don't have to rehash all of it, but behind Jeff Sims, yeah, it just doesn't look good right now. Obviously, we know what Heinrich can do with his legs, and that's a good option. But you need a legit throwing threat in the Big Ten. And yeah, I mean, when you're looking at quarterback depth, you're absolutely right, Nick. In 2023, with everything going on with college football, with NIL, it's extremely, extremely hard to keep a good quarterback room because these guys want to play, and things go on in social media. Guys hop in other guys' direct messages and say, "Hey, what are you feeling? Why don't you come over here?" That stuff is real, and that stuff happens. And I'm not saying that happened with Casey Thompson. Casey Thompson obviously wanted to play his last year here, but this is going to happen every single season, and it creates more headaches for personnel people, for head coaches, and it's just another thing to add on top of for head coaches to worry about. But yeah, I don't know if there's a good answer I'm giving right now, but it continues to be very, very difficult. And you're absolutely right, Nick. I mean, I don't know if there's an answer for this the way things are going, but every single season it's going to be a revolving door almost at every single position in college football, and quarterback might be the craziest of them all.
Yeah, you talk about craziest. I mean, you look at Nebraska's roster over just the last 2 years. I mentioned it in the first segment. They've had to go to the transfer portal to find their leading receiver the last 2 years, and potentially now 3 years if Billy Kemp or Josh Fleeks ends up being the leading receiver for Nebraska in 2023.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's going to be something. And what I always try to keep in my mind is Nebraska's not alone in this. I mean, every single program is going to go through this. So Nebraska is not the only one that's having to do this. But it's just big picture wise, it just doesn't really make the college football landscape, I think, I don't know, desirable. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but it's not a good look, I guess. But maybe I'm getting old. I am 32 years old, guys. So maybe change isn't good for me. But I mean, it's just going to be like I said, I go back to head coaches and position coaches and what a revolving door it's going to be. Finding guys to fill out your roster and trying to find depth charts and everything like that. So just interesting times in college football, but it's interesting times for everybody and not just Nebraska.
Okay, last one, because you wrote an article over the NFL draft in Nebraska over at Inside Nebraska, and Nebraska, for the listeners out there, Nebraska hasn't had a first-round draft pick since Prince Amukamara in 2011, or if you ask Prince himself, he pronounces it Amukamara, is how he pronounces his last name. But anyway, it hasn't been a first-round pick since Prince in 2011. And Steve, you made a glaring statement in that article that said, quote, since 2011, Iowa has had 9 first-rounders, Boston College has had 5, Pittsburgh has had 4, and Northwestern has had 3. And all of those programs had a first-round selection in the 2023 draft. Just overall thoughts on that, because that's a glaring statement on through multiple coaching staffs just the last 12 years in Nebraska.
Yeah, I think it just paints the story about Nebraska's football program and where it's at, since, the olden times, I guess. But, and then if you keep going, with the Jets selecting Will McDonald, that edge guy, and then the Chiefs going with the defensive end from Kansas State, you have Kansas State and Iowa State as they have as many first-round picks since 2011 as Nebraska does. And I just kept thinking to myself, if you're a coach from like Boston College or Iowa or Northwestern even, or Pittsburgh, and now Iowa State and Kansas State, and you're trying to get a recruit to commit to your team and not Nebraska, that's going to be a heck of a recruiting pitch, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Come here and we're going to develop you better than Nebraska can. So I think that's what that's been working against the Huskers lately. But, when you hire Matt Rule, I think Trev Alberts had a he knows how important developing football players is here and how much of a culture fit, it is here to be able to take a kid and develop him for 3 or 4 seasons and have him really kind of stand out in that 4th or 5th season. So, Rule has had plenty of examples of him at Temple and at Baylor at taking these under recruiting kids and building them up and turning them into good football players, and good football players that NFL franchises are okay with spending a draft pick on. And I think that's just really cool. Like I said, he has plenty of examples of it, and I think he's going to do it at Nebraska. And, for Nebraska to start winning more games that it has, you got to develop these kids better than they've been developed. So I think, Matt Rule is known for developing programs, and he's known for developing kids. Yeah. And, it's just, I think it's a good thing that Matt Rule is here, and I think he'll do it. So I think he's going to start be the one who's going to start pumping out more draft picks. We don't have to just narrow it down to first round draft picks. But I think he's going to have some of those. I don't know. I just got a feeling. I really like Matt Rule and what he's about and what his plan is, I guess, at Nebraska.
Good stuff, Steve. Hey, appreciate the time as always. Sorry, kept you a couple minutes longer than usual. I know you as a 32-year-old and now a dad, you might need a little bit of a nap in the afternoon, so I apologize.
Yes, absolutely. I definitely need a nap.
All right, Steve, we'll talk to you next week. We'll see you.
All right, thanks, guys.
That is Steve Marik of Inside Nebraska. Appreciate his time as always. Curtis Lincoln asked what happened to the other quarterback from Mississippi. So that's Jack Wosh, who we've mentioned a couple of times. He's a walk-on guy. I'm not necessarily sure if
how much does he play into
in the competition?
I don't know.
I'm not sure, but I think also part of it, it's Nebraska's previous staff always had 5 quarterbacks on scholarship every single year. They kept 5 on scholarship, and we know this staff. This is what makes it interesting, because if they're going to try to maybe get by with just 3 scholarships and Jack Wosh, we know this staff is going to get a 2024 guy. We know this staff is going to get a high school quarterback in their next recruiting class. It's just a matter of if it's the long shot in Dylan Raiola, or is it somebody else that maybe isn't even on their radar quite yet. Or a transfer, if you will. So let's take a break. When we come back, we talk a little bit of NBA with Austin, probably a little NFL draft as well, see how he's doing after his Colts take Anthony Richardson in the first round. Talked to him a little bit about that on Friday, but then he freaked out about Jim Irsay.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Potentially taking Will Levis as well. I wish Will Levis eventually did get drafted, so we'll kind of dive all into that coming up in the next couple minutes here on the Happy Hour.
Download our app by searching 93.7 The Ticket in your app store to stay in touch and listen all day long wherever you are. More of the Happy Hour is next on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
They say that April showers bring May flowers, but May delivers a lot more than that at GE Landscape Supply. Stop by for the Spring Landscape Days sale with almost everything on sale. Get 15% off of mulch, 10% off decorative rock, 20% off of flagstone, 25% off of decorative cobblestone, 15% off of stone edging, and 10% off soils. Save up to 25% rain or shine from May 1st through the 6th at GE Landscape Supply for the Spring Landscape Days sale. Open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m.
This is Jay Foreman. When I played football for Nebraska and in the NFL, I wore protective gear to safeguard my health. Today, I'm not only protecting my health, but everyone in our community by staying up to date with the bivalent COVID vaccine. Update your protection with the bivalent COVID vaccine while it's still free. Find out more at healthylincoln.org. That's healthylincoln.org.
For great views, go to Kansas. For unforgettable views of action-packed racing, Go to Kansas Speedway. With a premier facility that gives fans what they want, how they want to see it. And with a Saturday doubleheader, a Sunday Cup Series race, and great deals on kids' tickets, the views will get better all weekend long. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 6th and 7th. Get your tickets today at kansasspeedway.com.
Springtime is here, and it's time to get to work on outdoor projects. Deck City is a great place to start as Lincoln's local source for everything decks. Deck City has everything you need to build the deck of your dreams. From treated lumber to Westbury aluminum railings and TimberTech composite decking. Call them today to schedule an appointment at 402-480-6671. Go online at deckcityne.com or visit their new location just north of 33rd and Cornhusker Highway.
Sunday morning. It's quiet, not in a weird, too quiet way. Calm, peaceful, tranquil. You pour yourself that cup of coffee. You slice yourself a hearty chunk of one of Beatrice Bakery's breakfast breads. Now, maybe you're an apple streusel guy. Nothing wrong with that. I can respect that. Personally, I'm a turtle nut man. Something about those pecans. But the real ones know, don't sleep on that date nut bread. Sweet, but not too sweet. Nutty, not overly. The perfect morning treat. Beatrice Bakery. Online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Some kids worry about making the sports team. Others worry about where they'll sleep tonight. In Lincoln, 300 kids are in need of a safe and loving home. Cedars is here for them, but we do need your help. A gift to Cedars makes an immediate impact on Lincoln's kids. And on Give to Lincoln Day, your gift goes even further. I'm Jim Blue, president of the Cedars organization, and I'm asking you to go to givetolincoln.com to make your gift to Cedars and support Lincoln's kids today.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mix Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. Nebco offers great pay, medical, and retirement benefits, paid time off, and we pay for CDL training. Apply today to earn an average total compensation of $50,000 to $60,000 your first year driving. From Nebco's beginnings in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to the Happy Hour with Nick Sainert and Enrique Alvarez Clary.
When I gave you the cookie, I heard very clearly, I don't think about you, Schmidt.
Why would I think about you?
Because we're friends. We're not animals.
We're men. The only time a man is allowed to think about another man is when that man is Jay Cutler.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
So, conspiracy theory here on Happy Hour that the Philadelphia Eagles are promising high school recruits that if they go to Georgia, that they will be a Philadelphia Eagle. Dylan Raiola.
So he's not
future Eagle.
No. Jalen Hurts just got paid.
Jalen Hurts did just
Jalen
get paid.
Hurts ain't going nowhere.
But
you think Dylan wants to sit
in 4 years?
Jalen Hurts might get a little stale.
Jalen
Hurts might get a little stale.
You think Dylan wants to sit behind Jalen Hurts for 3 years?
Yeah. There'd be worse things to do.
He'll be ready to go right away.
You could have to sit behind Hendon Hooker.
We need what NFL team is going to promise Nebraska players that they'll get drafted?
Kansas City Chiefs. Just make a pipeline. At this point, just make a pipeline.
That would work better. Patrick Mahomes will be a little older.
What quarterback?
You'll learn behind
maybe not for Dylan Raiola, Dayton Raiola.
There we go. Now we're talking.
There we go.
Here's the question: do you think there's as much buzz around Dayton as there is Dylan?
No, there won't be. No.
That's disappointing.
Do you think he'll be the number
and
one?
Dayton's in what, the 27 class?
26.
Okay. Because Nebraska was offered a 27 guy.
Yeah. He's in the 26 class.
Okay.
But that's the thing is,
so they get Dylan.
Hey, which one would you rather have?
Dayton.
I'm gonna say Dylan, not just because we've been talking about him, but to have been able to have landed a recruit of that caliber in year one, that's a kickstart.
That would have been so I mean, and here's the thing is like their recruiting classes. It's not like they've been something just to shrug off, right?
No.
They're in heavily with the number one offensive lineman in the country, offensive tackle, if you will, in the country, and Brandon Baker. They're in heavily with a Matter-Day running back, a 4-star, and Nathaniel Frazier. They're visiting them today.
Big old nose tackle as well.
Yes, yeah. So they're in on a couple guys. Obviously, it's not to the extent that maybe the number one player in the country is. But it would have been a party. It would be a party if Nebraska.
Party on O Street?
I guess. I don't know, guys. Do we just close the door?
I have.
Okay. I didn't know what. Just fully close the door on any potential of getting Dylan Raiola.
Oh, that door's
I know for you it's
locked, dead bolted.
Interesting. So
I think I've cemented.
Do we have an
door
echo
shut.
going on?
Do we? Oh, we do.
I apologize. Thank you,
Austin.
Gator.
Whoops.
No, it's not. It's all right.
It's
It's all right.
okay, Austin.
Thank you, Gator, for letting us know. We appreciate it. So interesting enough. Guys, Steph Curry goes for 50.
He said, "Like the beam."
I thought the Kings were going to get that series. I really did.
You know what that series reminds me of, and it's terrifying? This Knicks Heat series.
How so?
Youth versus experience. Nobody on the Knicks outside of a guy who isn't playing has this much playoff experience, and that's Derrick Rose. Whereas on the Heat, almost everybody has been to the finals, and 2 years ago when they went in the bubble, and they have Kevin Love and Kyle Lowry, who are both champions. And oh, by the way, your head coach is a two-time champion. Two-time
Suppose
champion.
good. I wasn't surprised by the Kings-Warriors outcome. I thought the Warriors were going to get it done at home, though.
Okay.
So my first prediction was Warriors in 7 once the Kings went up 2-0. I thought the Kings would take game 5 and the Warriors would use that championship experience, yada, yada, to win the next 2.
It's a thing.
Once the Warriors got game 5 on the road, I'm like, okay, there's no way that this is going back up north.
Mm-hmm.
It did, but I'm not shocked to see things turn out the way they did.
No.
Kings would have been a cool story, but we weren't ready for one of those.
You know what? Steph went for 50.
That's
on 20 of 38.
Goodness gracious.
We're gonna do quick predictions here of the series since it's still early enough and we're thinking about it.
Perfect.
Miami up currently 1-0 on New York. Who wins it?
Everybody knows what I'm gonna say. You guys go first.
Heat in 5.
I'm gonna go Heat in 5 as well.
Knicks in 6.
Okay.
Jimmy might not play game 2. Julius will.
Okay, so we both said 5. What, in your opinions, is a gentleman's sweep? Does the
probably 5?
Does the lower seed have to win at home? Is it just the lower seed wins any game at any time?
Oh, home wins at home. Lower seed wins at home.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it being just the lower seed wins any game.
Okay. But still okay.
Yeah. Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 6, we're Heat in 5. Philly and Boston. This one might surprise you guys the way I go with this one.
Be a good one. Joel Embiid is hurt again, like he always is.
Yep.
I think I'm going to go with Boston in. I want this to go 7. I really do, but I think it's going to be Boston in 5.
If Embiid is out for 3 games, since it's more serious than they thought.
Mm-hmm. If he's out for 3 games, it's Boston in 4.
That's because I'm tempted to say Boston in 4. Clean sweep.
I don't know if I'm going to say 5 just to be safe.
Okay.
Boston in 6.
Okay.
They drop a stupid one.
Okay.
In game 5. Philly
that,
wins
like
game 3 in game
Tyrese
5.
Maxey goes off for 30.
Yep.
I'm going to go Boston in 5 as well then. Okay, the other in the West, the Denver Nuggets and the Phoenix Suns. Denver's up 1-0 currently.
The fact that Denver or that Phoenix played a great game and still lost the way that they did has me thinking that Denver is going to take care of business. But I think Chris Paul, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker will get at least one.
Yep.
Also because Denver, they just can't have nice things. I'm going to go Denver in 6.
Yeah, the Avalanche showed that last night.
Yeah.
Avalanche really did show that.
Shout out to the Kraken.
Shout out to Florida.
I want to adopt the Kraken as my team. My family just moved out of Seattle down to Arizona, but I still think I want to claim the Kraken.
You could be a Coyotes fan.
They play at like Arizona State's arena.
They're not good. Don't be a Coyotes fan.
Also, the Kraken is like the best. mascot.
Cool colors.
The best mascot.
Yeah, cool colors. Yeah, they got that cool logo and
It's a
everything.
great go.
I'm going to go Denver in 5 as well. LA and Golden State.
Oh, he didn't get his.
Oh, I apologize, Austin.
Phoenix in 7.
Oh, hello. Okay. So the 1 seed goes down there. LA and Golden State. I'll say mine, Golden State in 6, because somehow, some way, they're just going to get it done.
I mean, it's LeBron James, and he's playing really. The bear was poked. If you see him fighting in the forest of the bear, help the bear.
So Anthony Davis is going to get hurt this series,
as he usually does.
He survived the first one. He's going to get hurt this series.
Yep.
That leans Golden State.
Mhm.
LeBron's going to average at least 32 points a game.
Whoa.
That's what he does.
That's what he does. Wiggins isn't big
Yep.
enough to stop LeBron. Gary Payton, the mitten, isn't big enough to do it.
Wiggins
Iguodala isn't going to play.
Wiggins just has to avoid saying, I don't respect LeBron.
Nobody
and Wiggins
on
won't say
that
that.
team will
Yeah,
say that.
Exactly.
The question is who runs out of gas first. That's really the question.
Steph or Bron?
Steph or Bron, Clay or AD.
Steph has more people to defer to than Bron, but Bron never runs out of gas.
How big of a role does Draymond play in this series?
He'll be on LeBron some.
Yeah.
He'll be I think he's the primary for a long period of time. Once you get in the fourth quarter, it's going to be Draymond.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. Who's more important, Austin Reeves or Jordan Poole?
Austin Reeves.
I think so,
Jordan
too.
Poole's checked out.
That's why I'm asking if he's more important.
I think Austin Reeves is more important.
I really think Poole. The
'Cause
Warriors got by, but again, they're playing Steph more than they have ever before.
Mm-hmm.
Clay's a little bit prone. So to me, Jordan Poole has to step up and be that third offensive
But I just think the fact that you have Steph, Clay, Draymond to initiate offense, not to score, and Andrew Wiggins, kind of it doesn't take Jordan Poole out completely because he's still important. But you have LeBron, AD, and then a bunch of everybody else.
Yeah.
Austin Reeves, and the fact that he can do what he does is going to be supremely important for the Lakers. That or Rui Hachimura has to keep doing what he was doing earlier.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Jordan Poole has to be a star. I'm just saying he can't pout. He has to get over himself.
Yeah. All right, we got a minute left here. Gator asked a question, said it's not to switch sports. Also, if we don't get Dylan Raiola, do you think we kick the tires for the QB from Bellevue West?
He gone.
He ain't coming back.
Yeah, the tough part about Daniel Kalin, unfortunately, I'm sure they'd probably revisit it, but I think the tough part about that is that Daniel Kalin, there was an article in The Athletic that we
Really
talked
good
about, really interesting article where it was like, hey, you just can't prioritize two guys because they understand it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think Daniel Kalin, it'd be tough to sit there, and it'd be tough as the staff to be like, hey, listen, you're now our priority because we missed out on this number one guy. So,
hey, my first prom date said no.
Yeah,
go.
So now you're my number one.
Remember when we said, hold on?
Yeah, so unfortunately, that's just going to be tough. I do think they get a high school quarterback in 2024's class, no matter what. That'll do it for the happy hour. Stick around. On the Block is coming up next. Don't go anywhere. You're listening 93.7 The Ticket on a Monday.
Adios.
Hey, it's Nicklin Hames from Nebraska Volleyball. I hate wasting time, and I will help you stop wasting your time looking for an electrician. I've been serving the area for over 30 years for both residential and commercial properties.